What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Cast Me Outside with me, Aaron. How are you? Today's date is March 25th, 2025. I hope you guys are well. If this is your first time clicking on a Cast Me Outside episode, what's up? My name's Aaron. I'm a stand-up comedian, and I do these podcasts a couple times a week. They basically function as a video journal. I talk about my life, and then towards the end we usually get into advice. So my life and advice. Cast Me Outside. Welcome. Big news. I'm here in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and there's the Harrisburg Comedy Zone, the world famous Harrisburg Comedy Zone. And actually, I was just came back from there, and I had a genuine ghost experience, which nobody cares. I'm like the only person who cares about ghost experiences. I've learned my lesson. I'm just going to have to live with these experiences and not share them with people because nobody gives a fuck. But okay. Since I'm on the ghost experience, I was sitting at the back of the club talking to the guy in the sound booth, Payne. Shout out Payne. It's funny. He was like kind of like making a joke about haunting the place. He's like, dude, I swear if I'm still here 10 years from now, I'm going to be so fucking mad. If I die and my ghost haunts this place, I'm going to be so mad. And then, I kid you not, a minute later, there's like a handful of beers, one full and a bunch of them empty, just sitting on the table right behind me. And then we just hear a thud, and I look over, and one of the Coronas is on the floor, spilling out, and I pick it up, and I do my best to soak it up with some napkins. But him and I right there, and it was so weird. There was the host, Alex, was just at the other end of the table. He didn't even notice it. He was like eating, and it was his beer. And then later he was drinking the beer, and he looks at me, and he looks at like the amount of beer that's in there, like he knew he wasn't working with enough. And yeah, that was it. A beer fell off when none of us were looking, and it felt very ghosty. It wasn't super scary. It wasn't like when I was home alone. I think having people around definitely cuts the creepiness. But yeah, like something like that happens to me, like something flies off a table. I'm like, pull up the security cam. I'm like, I want to do a fucking investigation. Like, I need witness statements. I need freaking EVPs, electric voice phenomenons. I need commercial breaks to build suspense. And everyone else is just like, oh yeah, beer fell off. Maybe it was a condensation or something. There was no condensation. And then of course, Damien, shout out Damien. He's like, the mob used to own this building, and they do illegal card games in the basement. People definitely have died here. That's what he said to me. He's like, oh, it is haunted. So kudos to him for keeping the freaking energy bright. I'm in the mood for some ghost stories, but dude, like, unless that ghost is giving you the winning lottery tickets, unless that ghost is somehow from the future and giving you winning lottery tickets, no one cares about your ghost story. Like, you can be sucked in the TV poltergeist style, and still people are like, probably just some static, probably just something you ate. I don't even know. But just like the timing, like Payne was joking about this being his purgatory, and then a beer falls off a table unprovoked, whatever. But we're getting a special guest at the comedy club, Louie C.K. And of course, I fucking fell asleep when the tickets went on pre-sale, and I woke up an hour, not even on pre-sale, but when they went on sale, and I woke up like an hour later and went for it, and they were all gone. I think it was like the very last ones were getting swooped because it said there was limited available, and then after I refreshed it like 3 times, it was like, sorry. So people were probably swooping it right when I was waking up from my nap. I don't know about these naps anymore, guys. I love them. I was loving the NSDR the first week I did it, and I still like it. But you know what it is I'm so tired. I start doing the NSDR. My mind basically goes like in and out. I can't like follow along with the meditation, which is fine. Like it's all about getting rest. But I think if I'm just passing out and then sleeping for an hour and a half, it's not quite doing what I want it to do. I want these naps to like be like a quick 45 minutes, maybe 20 minutes of NSDR, maybe 20 minutes of like just sleeping, having my eyes closed, and then I want to be able to hit the ground running. But instead, I fall asleep, and then I wake up, and I have to like get up. And then like an hour and half an hour later, I feel fine and I feel like rested, and the nap did its thing. But I'm dealing with dysregulation again. I don't know if it's that I'm dealing with dysregulation. I think it's definitely not like an emotional, motivational like wall or anything. Like I still feel like I want to get stuff done, and the gym wasn't that bad today. Even though I don't know. I just have to trust the process is something that I was also thinking about. Just you're doing it. Pat yourself on the back. You're doing it. Like things are slowly and surely coming together. And it's like, yeah, it didn't happen instantly. But it's like if I just think about like cold showers. That was something that I maybe talked about for like a week. And then guess what? It's probably been a week or two that I've been consistent with it. So yeah, it took maybe a little bit of priming. Maybe it took like a little bit of planting the seed in my head. But now I'm like up and running with that. And that was like actually something I really wanted to experiment with. So I'm glad that I'm giving it its due diligence. And you also know what? As soon as it's going to be warm, and these cold showers won't be hitting us hard. So, like, yeah. So it might be something that sucks. That might just, transition out of with the season, just because it won't even be super feasible to get like the stimulus I need from the cold water. But I think ultimately what I was trying to say is like just these little habits that I wanted to integrate in my life. Like they didn't come in overnight, but they did come in eventually. And that's good. That's a good sign. That's a sign that I can introduce the things and habits I want in my life. Like I did shave yesterday. I know that's probably gonna be something I have to talk about for a couple weeks, just while I develop that habit. And 3 days is about enough growth. I didn't cut myself or anything, so I think it's gonna be every 3 days we shave. And just that's something that I have a weird mental hang up about. I just don't want to take the 10 minutes after a shower to do it. But that has changed. And we're taking it. I read this awesome book called Willpower. Awesome book. I really enjoyed it. As far as like pop psychology went, man, I was parking cars in Philadelphia. I was parking cars for the Ritz-Carlton, which is like right kind of at that square where William Penn is on top of that building. I don't know if that's the Capitol, not the Capitol building, but the City Hall. But there's this other skyscraper. And at the very, very last floor of this underground parking garage is the valet for the Ritz-Carlton. And I was going to school, and that was my summer job, thanks to, I forget the guy's name, I feel bad, but a guy I sat next to in one of my classes got me the job, parking cars, and it was hell. Just the location was hell. We were literally underground in a stinky ass parking garage, 7 stories underground, like worst, like working environment. as far as like creating the next phase of my life, I think the environment is going to be a huge factor, a huge deal breaker in what I do next. Because I can't be living a life, a third of my life, underground in a parking garage. Not that I'm there now. That was only a summer or a couple months. But I can't live a third of my life in a dusty ass warehouse. I just, you know, I get to choose. I can choose, and that's what I choose. You know, and even though I feel like I didn't get to my point with the parking garage, I think that kind of brought me to another point that I was just kind of reflecting on, which is just standards. Like, yeah, I'm kind of at like an open part of my life where I'm willing to like entertain possibilities as far as like relationships and stuff. But I can't be so desperate for a relationship that I waste my time and my energy on people who just aren't we aren't going to sync up with. Like, maybe it'd be like a bit of a vibe. Maybe we can have fun in like a kind of frivolous, hedonistic way. But ultimately, it's like there's no connection. You're not necessarily a person from interacting with you. Like, you're not a person who I want to hang around with. It was this person at a bar, and and they were all like smoking and stuff. It's like, I know that's not what I want. I know I don't want to hang out with. If their idea of hanging out is, or a night out is going for a cigarette every 20 minutes, that's not my vibe. I don't want to smell like smoke. I don't want to breathe in your smoke. We can smoke some weed, but that's not for me. And for me to like kind of lower my standards of how I want to spend my time, just on like the off chance of getting lucky, it's not in alignment. So I need to be like really deliberate, I think is what it's about. It's like this weird balance that I can't really find, because all these like kind of moments and interactions are fleeting, and if you don't take the time to like escalate, at least to like trading, getting a phone number, then you're never going to see them again. So it's like, and sometimes after a good interaction, it's not until after a good interaction that you realize. And so it's like this ability to kind of be present and go for it. But sometimes I think in being present, I just let things kind of dissolve into its like kind of natural state. I don't know. And then in retrospect, I'm like, oh damn it, that was probably an opportunity to at least test the waters. But I don't know. That also got a little rambly. But what I will say is standards. What type of person do I want to hang out with? Like a good person. It's like, and I can make that judgment call. And not that these people are bad people, but like people who align with like kind of my like health and fitness and kind of like positivity. Like, I think I'm just the type of person that has to be like pretty optimistic to get through the day. Gotta have a little bit of hope. Never really gelled too much with nihilism. Not that I like am above complaining, it would be nice to be above complaining one day, but it's also fun to bitch. So, oh, okay, yeah. I wish I remembered what I was talking about when I got into like Philly and parking cars. But whatever, raising my standards is on the list, and taking opportunities. I went back into Cesar Millan, just listen to it again. I don't know. It's a little woo-woo for me. Even though I do like agree with it, but there's just not a lot of like practicality I can bring to it. I feel like energy is like the name of this past month or so, between like doing the archetypal energies, and then Cesar Millan is all about the calm assertive energy, and then authority is kind of like an energy. And I even started listening to a book that Caesar recommends in his, called like Beyond Intention. And it's I'm not vibing with it. There was like one or two cool sentences that were kind of inspiring, but this guy, actually, now that I think about it, maybe I'm just being a hater and it's just not giving me kind of the practicalness. Some of like the really airy self-help stuff that's not like very practical. Like sometimes I can like vibe with it and really connect, and it's like, okay, you make perfect sense. And other times it's just like, say something. Just say something of any substance. That's yeah. That's like I need like something to hold on to. That's kind of, I think, my litmus test for a lot of things. Just how practical they are. Even though I'm all about the energy. Trying to get my energy right. And I feel like the energy's been better. Something that Cesar Millan did say in his book that really resonated with me is like, your dogs pick up when you have these like internal conflicts. Like if like a lot of your internal dialogue is you like fantasizing a fake argument where someone came to you with weird energy in your own mind, and then you're kind of playing it out in your head. It's like I do that. I have weird fake arguments, and I will say, luckily, it's been less. I think a couple times I caught myself. It's like, and yeah, that kind of is like the creation of a bad state, the beginning, the seed of a bad mental state, when you're just bickering to yourself in your own head. It's wild. Just that we do that, or that I do that to myself. And yeah. And one of the examples, like a girl, it wasn't that the dog was afraid of the air compressor in the garage. It was that the wife hated that the husband hid away in the garage every day after work, and then didn't spend time with spend time together. They didn't spend time together, so the dog picked up on it. So it wasn't really the dog that had to change. It was the wife's vibes, which I like. I wouldn't even argue that. I'm like I'm yeah. She could have had bad vibes that the dog was picking up on. And so it's like, are dogs kind of like these antennas that we bred with ourselves? Not with ourselves, but we bred alongside people, and they just they had to be in tune with their owners. It's kind of cool to think of like dogs and animals as like a litmus test, dude. I hate to say this, but my one cousin, and I might have mentioned this, I don't know if I was doing the podcast then, but we had like a family gathering, and the dog is totally chill, but she like walked out the door in front of the dog, and the dog started to like growl, and it didn't get weird, but you can just tell the dog didn't like her. Just off the rip. And you know what? I don't think that dog is wrong. I don't think that dog was picking up false signals. Like, I don't know how her vibe's doing. I don't know if I shouldn't gossip about my family and then post it on the internet, or should I? But yeah. So there's part of me that like wants to hang out with dogs and see if I can feng shui them into thinking I'm their pack leader, which I am. But yeah, the eternal dialogue, and kind of I was shitting on the intention book. You know, he's trying to like do something beautiful and positive with the intention book. It just isn't really feeling like it just doesn't really feel like I get a lot of value from it, I guess. But yeah, ride this energy train. Really dial in. But as far as like your internal dialogue, that is like one of the tips that people get, like especially if you're trying to like approach women. It's like, don't have a lot running in through your head, because that all of that's gonna be picked up on. It's like women and dogs, they're the ones that pick up on your mental cues and your internal state subconsciously. So if you're not like showing up with good vibes, like they're like, you know, you're not gonna be able to fool them. Which there's part of me that like is more than willing to see if that's something I can experiment with. I've noticed, yeah, I think kind of clearing your mind, not thinking about much, and breathing deeply, and you know, being in the moment with people. It's hard. It's hard for me, but you know, I'm fascinated by it. So it's been an interesting journey so far. What else? Oh yeah, Louis C.K. is coming. How crazy is that? And I fell asleep and I missed the tickets. And you know, in my mind, I was like, oh, all my comedy friends are gonna be there, and they're all gonna get to hang out with Louis C.K. And it's gonna be this amazing comedy moment in the little blip of our lives as comedians. And then, you know, like the one guy who's been there forever, so the same exact thing happened to him, and he was like, and he's in the know. That's, yeah, I don't know. It's not a big deal, but it's still fucking cool. Louis C.K. is hilarious. I have Chewed Up right there. I have Hilarious on DVD. I have Chewed Up on DVD. I bought his live stream at Madison Square Garden, and I think I gave him like $40 and got all of his specials too, just on digital copy. Louis C.K. did this really cool thing where he just has all of his content on a website. And, you know, if you want to give him $40 or whatever, you can get the entire series of Louis. If you want to give him $40 or whatever, you can get all 8 or whatever of his stand-up specials. Like he has his content out there, and you know, you pay for it, but it's not like a crazy subscription service. If you like him and want to support him, you know, after he kind of got persona non grata. But there's a rumor that he's doing this tour for a bigger like streamer, like maybe he has a Netflix or Hulu or something. He probably Hulu, 100%. Because Hulu had this. It was a sick ad. It was like Jim Gaffigan talking to like Bill Burr, and then I think maybe Jerry Seinfeld even pops up. And they're like, we're doing comedy specials. And like, who has, yeah. Like, those people, Louis C.K., like, those are Louis C.K.'s comedy, like, equals. Like, Gaffigan and Bill Burr. Jerry Seinfeld, I mean, he's always going to be a legend, but I think there is that sharpness or, you know, bit of clout that's lost if you take time off like that and don't do the craft anymore. So, like, sorry, Jerry, you're going to have to prove yourself. You're going to have to prove yourself if you want to be on the Mount Rushmore of comedy. But yeah, hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully I could just hang around and lurk while and like peek my head in and see Louis C.K. Oh my God. He is amazing. I'd love to be like cynical and sarcastic and pretend like I'm not pissed. that I missed this opportunity because I had my homie Vincent was messaging me because they made an Instagram post and I didn't even think about it. So I missed that opportunity. But yeah, I made it to the gym today, went and did comedy. I'm feeling so disconnected to stand up right now. I only do it 2 times a week and I haven't come up with any new material. And it just feels like I have a bunch of old tricks. I just feel like an old dog with old tricks, and I'm not seeing the growth I want, so I don't know what I need to do to change that. I think what I need to do is probably write. So, come on, Magic Podcast. This is the Magic Podcast where I talk about doing something and I actually do it. And So some sort of comedy writing practice. I need to add that to my life. But yeah, I don't know. Oh yeah, I did have a weird moment. I don't know, man. Was I on the Lions Mane? I probably was. This was Saturday. And I was just cleaning, which is I'm so glad I did because my parents came back from vacation and I didn't even really and by the time they texted me that they were coming back from vacation, I was basically had, the kitchen all clean. So they'll come into a new space, or they'll come into a space basically ready for them to fuck it up. I can't like let their messiness become my internal mess. I can't let their external mess become my internal mess, even though it is annoying. And it's like, I ebb and flow. Like when I'm living alone, it's like, I'm not doing dishes every day. I'm not staying on top of every single mess. But there comes a time in the week where I do reset stuff. And it's just, I had it all reset. And within a blink of the joke is, it's like, oh, the second you clean, it gets dirty. Yeah, but it's like, this got like insane. I had like every counter all nice and wiped off. I don't know. It's just annoying. Other people's messes are annoying. Hopefully within the next year, the only messes I'll be dealing with are my own messes. I think good things are happening. Super grateful for where I am. But yeah, I was cleaning. And then I cleaned the bathroom a little bit. And, my sink was just disgusting. Like strands of dental floss in the sink. A weird coating of grime from toothpaste spit. Like, hairs from shaving. Just a nasty ass sink. But I cleaned it. I wiped it all down. And then I showered. And I walked out of the shower. And it was a clean sink, and I was like, I'm walking into a dream. And that's basically it. That's basically the story. But just in that moment, it was so powerful. In that moment, it was like, wow. It is kind of like these little choices that kind of tint your life. It's like, oh, the little choice of keeping the sink clean. It's like, then I get out of the shower and then I have this kind of positive experience where I see something that's like, it's not like the sexiest sink you've ever seen, but it's like pleasant. It's not this repulsive thing. So it's like, all those times where you walk out of the shower into this world of disgustingness, or you walk out of the shower into this world of nice cleanness. It's like, which world do you want to walk into? Like, you can set it up so you're walking into a dream, or you can set it up so you're walking into a nightmare. I hope you find something to straighten up, and you appreciate the effort you put in, and see that it made the dream you're living just a little bit brighter. Gratitude and such. That's my rambly way to get out of this episode, because that is it. This is it. This episode's finito. It's been a lot of fun, but we're done. Gotta run. Thank you this time for your time, and until next time, keep on living and loving. Peace.